And welcome in, everybody. Thanks for joining us here. Detroit Sports Talk on the fifth chapter, presented by CashToBitcoin.com. I am joined by Adrian Myers. I'm Dennis Fithian. We've got Pete Finelli out in the Keystone State. We're ready to get things underway. And Adrian, how are you?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. Ready to talk some sports.
Man, this weekend, I was just looking at the docket. Tomorrow night, we've got Michigan starting a tournament out in Vegas. The game doesn't tip off till 12:30 at the earliest, so I'm gonna be staying up till 3 o'clock in the morning there, waking up watching Michigan State, Ohio State, getting back Michigan, Maryland. Probably, I don't know. I'll be asleep probably by Oregon, Utah at the end of the night. Then the NFL will get going, and then Michigan will play either in a consolation game at midnight or 9 o'clock of this championship game against Wichita State or Arizona. It is going to be a busy weekend, but I love it.
Absolutely. They need a bounce back win this week. They had a tough loss the other day against a tough Seton Hall team. So I think they'll do pretty well in this tournament.
Hopefully, we are going to get to a little basketball coming up in the fourth chapter. We're going to talk about Cade Cunningham. He was in action last night. I was taking in the number one overall pick as he was out there. And a little spoiler, he played well down the stretch for the Pistons as they got the W. We got a lot of college football and some pro to get to as per usual. And our book and our chapters, it is always brought to you by our title sponsor, and that is, as you see there on the bottom of the screen, if you're listening, it's CashToBitcoin.com. They present the fifth chapter, and I know you've thought about cryptocurrency. Now I'm here to tell you how to do it. It's as easy as going to CashToBitcoin.com. I was listening to the Red Wing game now over a month ago, and the rookie scored a hat trick, and I'm listening to their spot, and I was excited, just like I was for that hat trick. CashToBitcoin.com, one of the fastest and largest growing crypto ATMs in Michigan. They have hundreds of locations in Michigan and beyond. CashToBitcoin.com's ATMs and terminals offer safe and secure transactions. So get it going, step it up, and check that out. Now is the time, folks. Remember it. Use it. CashToBitcoin.com. All right, Adrian, and you are excited. You're excited to talk a little baseball. We couldn't even squeeze it in here, but let's start and talk some college football. And center stage here is Mel Tucker's Spartans as they go down to Ohio State, a high noon on Saturday. Let's start right there. What kind of chance do you give Michigan State against Ohio State on Saturday? They're getting 19 points.
If I was to base it on a percentage chance, I would give them about a 45% chance to win this game. The key to them being able to pull this upset off, if possible, is for them to have complete ball control and to keep this Ohio State offense off the field. So that means Kenneth Walker, I think, in order to beat Ohio State, is going to have to carry the ball 30-plus times. They're going to have to be a little more explosive through the air. The offensive line for Michigan State's a little iffy, but Kenneth Walker is the key to this game. And I think with this young secondary of Ohio State, you can test them a little bit because they've been torched a couple of times. But the key is to keep this offense off the field because C.J. Stroud and company have been on a complete tear in the last 5-6 games. So I think Michigan State has to have ball control. This needs to be a low-scoring game in order for them to win this game.
Yeah, that percentage sounds a little bit high to me, 45%, but I agree with you with Kenneth Walker. And if I was a Michigan State fan, I'm not. But I remember back in 2015 when they had a backup quarterback and went down there and beat Zeke Elliott in the last-second field goal with Tyler O'Connor and everything. Nobody was giving them a chance down there. That doesn't mean they have a chance here or that's going to have any confidence. From a fan standpoint, you say, hey, if you're a State fan, you look at it and say, you know what? This is everything that you can absolutely hope for. You can hope that you get to this point with a chance to knock off Ohio State. You already beat Michigan, and that you have a special player, and they do. Kenneth Walker is the front runner for the Heisman Trophy, and you just mentioned it. The recipe to go down there and beat him is having a great back that can keep the awesome offense over there on the sideline. They've got it. They've got that special player. I think Michigan would have beaten Michigan State if they didn't have Kenneth Walker. They had him, and he played great. He had 100 touchdowns. What do you have? 5 touchdowns?
5 touchdowns. Yeah.
5 touchdowns against Michigan. I don't know if he needs 200 yards and 5 touchdowns, but if he goes out there and puts a Heisman Trophy type performance out there and they beat Ohio State, I mean, look at that. The sky's the limit, in terms of of winning the Big Ten. I don't know about a national championship, but man, what a special Saturday if you're a Michigan State fan. Everything right there for them, and they've got that special player. I always say, how do you beat a team like Ohio State? Yeah, beat them with somebody like Kenneth Walker. So it's right there for them. 45 is a little high for me. I'd say 35, but we're not so far apart on it.
Yeah, I just say 45 because I just feel like Mel Tucker gave this program a shot in the arm, especially coming out in his second year and playing huge. And he just got that big contract extension, the 10 years, $95 million, which is crazy. But congrats to them. I always salute people who want to get to the money. But I think they're gonna come out and play inspired and keep it close to the third quarter. But I'll save my picks for later in the show. But they'll keep it close.
You mentioned that 10-year, 9.5 or 95 million. It's $9.5 million per year, which is nice for Mel Tucker. It has been offered. He has, as of yet, has not put his signature on that contract. You could say as a State fan, what are you waiting for? Let's get that on. Let's not wait. Is he waiting to beat Ohio State? Is he waiting to the end of the year to create some more of kind of leverage or something? Like, this seems to be the greatest contract in the world if you're Mel Tucker, and that's what Michigan State put together. You credit them. But I'd be a little bit nervous if I'm a State fan wondering why it's there. I know that was reported yesterday, but it's been kind of out there by some Michigan State insiders for at least a week now. And now we're sitting there, and maybe he'll sign it before the game coming up on Saturday, and they'll have him. Do you think it's too much for Tuck? Handing him over the most amount of money in college football. Only Nick Saban makes more annually than Mel Tucker would if he puts his John Hancock down on that contract.
I would say no, because I feel like Michigan State's found the right fit. And if you think about it, the money that college football is generating from revenue or these boosters, they went from millionaires to a lot of billionaires. So, I mean, if he doesn't get the job done, they'll put a bullet right in him and get a buyout. Because I was reading an article the other day from The Athletic and was saying how college football has already paid $50 million in coaches' buyouts. So I don't think money is the issue. So I just feel like if Michigan State's going to go for it, they might as well, go for it because they found a coach that fits their identity in their program. I mean, there's going to be a coach probably the next year or two who gets a pretty contract just like that, probably in the $10 million range. So no, I think it's a good fit for Michigan State. And I don't think it's too much money because college football is making billions of dollars right now.
Well, if you're Michigan State and you want to play with the big boys, and they say eat at the big boy table, when you find a coach and he has had the kind of season he had this year, put together the kind of team, like they beat their rival last year in Michigan. Now they're 2-0. We know that. And now he's sitting here with one loss. And as we talked about this great position heading into Saturday, this is what you have to do. And to your point here, like, the next guy that's going to be in a similar situation, well, they'll just say, hey, we got to give him more than Mel Tucker. And maybe by next year, the following year, Mel Tucker will be in the top 5, maybe in the top 10. And, this will all be forgotten. But when it's the time, timing is the essence. They're always saying that, and when it comes to a contract, Mel Tucker's in a great spot. He's wanted, he's as hot as possibly can be. So, good for him. And yeah, I mean, for Michigan State, it's also good for them that they've stepped up here and came up with this kind of deal as they have right now, and they're going for it. In pro football, it's more about the quarterback and probably the GM than it is the coach. But in college football and college basketball, the coach is so important, and you need to have that coach. And you start at square one. I thought they were starting at square one with Mel Tucker, but he has come in and demonstrated with like that. He could go out there and put a team together. Very valuable. And I'm with you on that. Just wondering, when the signature is going to be down.
Me too. I will say though, just because I just forgot about this, but I know he's supposed to sign this contract, right? But you still got all these big job openings from maybe a Florida, possibly if Dan Mullen gets fired. You still got the SC job out there and the LSU job, which I think LSU is going to throw everything they got at whoever they're going to get. So their next coach could possibly make $10 million or the SC coach. So, there's a lot to be determined. I don't know. Maybe James Franklin leaves and goes to SC. Who knows? But I think there's a possibility this year that we could see the $10 million range as well. So, but it's for college football, it's mostly about the coaches and the facilities. You have to have a great facility in order to draw recruits in order to be able to contend for a national title. And that's why I give Michigan State the credit, because they're going for it and they're trying. So.
Yeah, good point. Jimbo Fisher could sign an $11 million contract, and James Franklin could sign a $12 million contract. The Mel Tucker could go from second to, fifth pretty quick, just like that, So that's a good point here. Before we get to Pete Finelli, who's out in Penn State, always has a thought on college football. He has watched Ohio State, and he will see Michigan State as Penn State figures large because they are in the Big Ten East. Let's go through some of this feedback. Here's Beth. We know she's a Spartan fan, and she's being realistic here. She doesn't think MSU has a chance against OSU. She hopes she's wrong. She thinks Michigan has a better chance to beat OSU this year. What do you think? What would you say to Beth there, Adrian?
I would agree with Beth because, as we know, Michigan played just as well as Michigan State against that game, but Michigan got the victory when they needed it. So I actually do agree. Plus, the game is in Ann Arbor, so I think it gives the crowd a chance to get in the game. It gives Michigan a little more confidence to get off to a better start, especially because MSU is going down to the Horseshoe, and we all know that place is just as crazy as any other place you go to. So I would agree with Beth on that one.
I would, and I would agree with you because of the location. And I did see, we know that the line is 19. The projected line, if you could bet it today, I did see would be 4.5, 5. What Michigan would be getting next week. Now things could change there with how the teams play and everything else, but yeah, it would seem that Michigan would have a better chance just based on that and where it's being played. Beth has more here. Sideshow Sports. Raj there. Kenneth Walker will not run all over OSU. Give me Ohio State by 2 touchdowns. Well, that doesn't cover Sideshow, so you like MSU and the points is what you're saying there. And I tend to like Michigan State and the points too. I've seen big fat spreads before down in Columbus, and I've taken the opponent only to see them get smacked upside the head. But I guess it's a little bit of a spoiler alert. I'm going green and white with those points as well.
Me as well.
All right. That's saying you get hired to get fired. Money is not the issue. As you said, if he doesn't succeed, he'll get a buyout. There's Robert. He's out working tonight. We need him as a full-time producer. He's like, I got a job. And congratulations to Rob Diddy for going out there and getting a job. It's great. He is, dealing with the pandemic and everything else. And, I'm happy for him. That he's out there, putting his feet on the ground and out there cashing checks and getting it done. So it's good to see him. He was on some training here. And so whatever happened, he is good to go. And before we do bring in Pete, we've got Mr. Rossidi. Super Rossidi now is here. He's saying, sports hood, it's all good. Say hi to Adrian there, Super Rossidi. Yeah, he wants to know where Chappie is. Chappie's been off the show for months. He's just doing radio now. He wants a side bet. He wants MSU. I'll give you MSU straight up, Super Rossidi. Let's do it.
I'll take that bet as well. I'll take that bet as well, Rossidi. Let's see if he's down for that.
Let's go. See if you want. How confident you are, Super Rossidi. Ohio State, straight up. See where you're at on there. I can't hear your co-host that good. Okay, well, let's see if anybody else has anything to say about that. Let's see if you can hear Pete Finelli, who is our intern.
Pete,
he sounds pretty good. Can you hear Adrian okay, or is that a Super Rossidi issue?
No, Adrian's mic. When we were in the pre-show, he was good, and then we hit a point. It's kind of like.
Let me know if it gets. Yeah, let me know if it gets a little spotty. I'll adjust it.
It's not spotty. It just doesn't sound as clear.
Okay.
Super Rossidi, in addition to being, Detroit sports analyst, he's also got a very good ear, apparently. And he wants Michigan State straight up against us. Pete, are you in on the action here?
I would take Ohio State straight up any day.
Woo! All right, we got a triple bet against Super Rossidi. He's got Michigan State straight up against Ohio State. Now we just have to figure out what it's going to be. Now, Pete's underage, under 21, so we can't get too crazy here. Maybe a pizza. I'm thinking about a pizza, Super Rossidi. That sounds like a pretty good bet to me.
We also got Rob on his way to work right now. He's saying that Kenneth Walker under 100 yards.
Ooh.
I don't like that at all. They're going to rely on him heavily.
Well, yeah, like that is the key to the game. Adrian said it. I agree with him. How do you keep a high-powered offense from getting into the end zone? Well, you limit the amount of times that they're going to get possessions. To be able to do that, bleed the clock, and rely on a great running game. It goes back to you guys are almost too young here, but it was a Super Bowl in the early '90s. Where Jim Kelly and the Buffalo Bills had this K-gun offense, and it was so high-powered, and Bill Parcells, the tuna, came out and said, you know what, we're just going to bleed it to death. We're going to win the time of possession. He had Otis Anderson, and that was the game plan, and it worked magnificently, and the Giants ended up beating the Bills in that Super Bowl, and that's when it started. So there you go. Super Rosidi, we got you down. We got a pizza. We just got to figure out what kind of pizza now. You think it over, your favorite place, and what you want to come up with. And if Michigan State wins, you'll have it. So there you go. Pete, what about the game? Are you thinking that Michigan State keeps it close? And I now that you've got something at stake here with a pie on the line. So what are you thinking about it?
If we're looking at the spread again, I don't want to spoil the fifth chapter too much, but I'll go ahead and say it. I definitely like MSU to cover or to 19 points. That's a lot. I know last week I liked Purdue with the points against Ohio State, and I got didn't work out too well. But MSU is a better team, even though what happened a couple weeks ago. But I like the points for this one.
Everybody lining up wants some of that Rosidi action. You see Sideshow Raj wants to put 100 on it. Rosidi's coming back. Only 70 per person because of the legal age and all that. Thanks for keeping that in mind. You'll have to deal with Raj by yourself, Rosidi. Well, so we got one pizza on this. That's the way it's going to go right now. So I'm confident in that bet.
Next year, Rosidi, we'll see.
Yeah, all this cash being thrown out. You said last week. Now, I wonder if you're in the same spot, Pete, because you were hot Tuesday. Still, you'd gone down to the game. Penn State lost. Your coach was faking field goals from the 2-yard line when everybody knew it was coming. You were mad. You said something to the effect like, if James Franklin wants to go, you drive him to the airport. Okay. So, but now, what if USC wants to give him $11 million? Are you still kissing him goodbye, or you're hoping that he comes back?
No, if USC offers him money and he wants the money, he's welcome to go and try his luck somewhere else. Like I said on Tuesday, he's been underperforming. You have a top defense. You have Jahan Dotson, a receiver. You got Clifford, who before he got hurt was performing pretty darn well, and it's just not showing, and it says something about the coaching right there. So if he's got an offer somewhere else and he wants to go, feel free to go.
All right. You guys ready to move on and get to the next chapter?
Yeah, we can do it. Hey, I got a quick question for Pete before we move on real quick. Hey, Pete, my question for you with Penn State is, it seems like James Franklin is able to recruit really well when it comes to like receivers and defensive linemen and cornerbacks, but I don't know what it is, but his offensive lines have been terrible the last 5 years. He was even a problem with Bill O'Brien, and I'm like, man, Michigan is straight dogging these boys. They couldn't stop a Jabo or a Hutchinson. So I was just curious, what do you think the issue with that is?
I really don't know. Yeah, we've had good recruiting classes this year, and next year is looking good. Like I said, the defense is great, receivers good, and in the past, with running backs have been good, but right now we've got like 3 guys who are all subpar. But yeah, the O-line's been horrendous. I really don't know what to think about that. I hope they fix it, because that's killing them.
Well, here's one thing to think about, Pete. Penn State, the rivals team rankings, they're in the top 5. They got a top 5 recruiting class. So signing day less than a month away, December the 15th. You got that going for you. Yeah, which is not small potatoes. Having a top 5 recruiting class, pretty good. That's the best in the Big Ten.
I know they have like the number 1 quarterback prospect.
From Ohio. Yeah, from Ohio. Drew something. I can't remember his name, but he looks pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
All right, now let's turn the page.
Now let's do it.
All right, fellas. Ready to talk some NFL football?
We're on to Michigan first.
Oh, sorry. All right, let's get to Michigan first.
Getting ahead of ourselves.
Sorry. I'm getting a little ahead.
That's okay.
So Michigan takes on Maryland on the road. For me, what do you guys think? I'll let you guys go before I get to what I need to say.
Yeah, what I'm looking for in this particular game, Michigan's favored by 14.5. Maryland plays more man than they do zone. Michigan has seen mostly zone coverage, so the wide receivers working against some man-to-man coverage. It'll be interesting to see how they do there and how Cade McNamara is able to fit some of those footballs into some 50-50 type throws. So that's one thing. To me, though, it's Hassan Haskins has had 2 weeks in a row here. He's had 27 carries when he have 31 carries last week. Try to limit his load a little bit. And for that, I'm going to go to Donovan Edwards, the true freshman. I think this is his game. If he can get out there, I'd like to see him get 15 carries and, save Blake Corum for Ohio State. So that's one big thing that I would see. On the other side, Michigan's corners have been playing really, really well. Jamon Green didn't even play in this game, but you've got DJ Turner stepping up and Vincent Gray. And we know in a safety and a true freshman, Rod Moore, and that Ohio State's got, stacked wide receivers across the board. Seeing these guys against a live arm and Talia Tungavailoa, who throws overhand sidearm on the run. I mean, he's got a great arm. He's a complete gunslinger. He's going to break all the records there at College Park. This is a good, I don't want to say a warm-up, but it's a good test because Ohio State is going to be throwing it all over the place. And, if Michigan can get their backup running back going and then get on to Ohio State week, that's what I'm looking for coming up on Saturday.
I think this is kind of similar to last week when Maryland had MSU. Don't overthink it. This isn't a hard game for Michigan. They're a much better team. The only thing that they really need to worry about right now is doing something stupid and overlooking Maryland and just focusing on Ohio State. Like Brian in the chat saying that all they have to do is breathe and they'll beat them, and he's right. Realistically, they should not be a problem at all. Just don't do something stupid and look on to next week or before you even finish the game.
Yeah.
Same sentiment here. I mean, Maryland has one good player on the offensive side of the ball, and that's Rakeem Jarrett, the receiver on the outside guy. If Michigan can do what they're supposed to do, get to Talia. He throws a lot of interceptions. He's a very big risk taker, so I feel like Michigan will be able to produce some easy turnovers early in this game, like you and Dennis said, Pete. Get some of the young guys in and get some experience. I was expecting, honestly, to see more carries from Donovan Edwards against Penn State because I want to kind of keep Hassan a little fresher for this Ohio State game. Blake's probably not going to play, which I wouldn't play him. Get these guys ready for Ohio State. But mind you, do not look past these guys. Just go out, take care of business, and get some reps for the two deep and some of the younger guys that haven't got to play too much this year.
Tuesdays with Jelinek. He is on the show, and that he is a big State fan. He is excited. There he is, knocking all the other teams and going with his team. And you know what?
Being a hater as usual.
Well, you know what? Riding up till Saturday, live it up until noon on Saturday. I think I'd be doing the same thing. You got the Heisman Trophy. You got Tucker's is about to get $9.5 million. You got Kenneth Walker's going to win the Heisman. You're feeling like 2015 again, except you don't have a backup quarterback. I mean, what the hell? Live it up. Live it up until noon on Saturday, and then we'll see what happens. Maybe you'll be like Super Ricidi running around collecting, money and pizza, collecting dough. I don't know. One more here, and it's from Beth, the Spartan fan. MSU played horrible against Purdue. I think it was a letdown after the Michigan game. Michigan should be careful. They will get the win, but don't take the game lightly. Well, no, you're right about that, Beth. And Mike Loxley, I was watching the head coach at Maryland in his press conference this week, and he said, yeah, you know what? Michigan's got a big game following week. Hopefully they're looking more towards that one. A little bit of a paraphrase there. Before we move on and get to the NFL, one more from Tuesdays with Brian. Cade is throwing the ball more, and if he's on, that offense could roll. I think for OSU, they are going to make Cade throw the ball. If he's on, which he has been recently, they can be a problem. Jelinik's looking ahead towards the Ohio State game. Everybody looking towards the Ohio State game. We focused in on Maryland. We got our mind right.
Yeah, we're on the
worry about it. That mistake.
Yeah, I don't even want to worry about it. I don't even want to talk about it till next week. Let me get to 3:30 on Saturday, and then I can worry about that. But for now, we just need to handle business. I
agree with you.
Yeah.
All right, boys. The other game that like I said, I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to make it. I know it's only a 7:30. I should be able to make it to 7:30 on Saturday night. But Oregon, the number 3 team in the country, so it sets up noon. Michigan State, Ohio State. 3:30 is Michigan, Maryland. 7:30, you've got Oregon going to number 23 Utah. The surprising thing, maybe in this one, is that the Utes are favored by 3 points in this one. So. We're expecting a good game there. And of course, if you look at the college football playoff rankings, which we all do for a couple seconds to get a good laugh, Oregon's they're number 3 in that thing, right? So,
right.
At least we better watch the team that beat Ohio State and possibly you would think control their own destiny if they're able to get. That's what it looks like. Although maybe the college football playoff committee will just pull a fast one at the end and say, no, you know what, we're going to put Ohio State there anyways. Even though you guys beat them.
Yeah, I could. I think Oregon's going to go in there and win because this is possibly they'll be playing Utah like 2 times in the next 3 weeks if they can take care of business. But historically, as we all know, Oregon always puts themselves in a position to where they lose a game they shouldn't be and knock the Pac-12 out. So this is a huge game for the Pac-12. But I think Oregon will go in there and take care of business at Utah.
Raj saying that K9, that's Kenneth Walker III. I like the nickname. First time I've seen that one, but Spartan Dog, K9. I think it all fits together there. Mm-hmm. I get that. I also think that he's making a correct statement here that if MSU loses their last 2 games, that Kenneth Walker III will not win the Heisman. Yeah, you got to come up big in the big games. He's got 2 big ones. This one really big, sitting there against Ohio State. But I don't know, Raj, if he comes out and throws up 175 yards and 3 touchdowns and Michigan State loses, I still think he's the front runner. And then if he – there you go. now we're talking. Now we're talking. That's what we're hoping for. If I am looking ahead for 1 second, there it is. That's my favorite video of the year so far. When we do a year-ender, spoiler alert, that's going to be number 1. I can't get enough of that one. I just watched that one. We can tell that Rob is in the house. And it's good to see him there. All right, now we're ready. Of course, Rosidi does not think that K9 is going to be held down because he is using the force. Hey, you know what? Use it all. Talk it over now. Talk it up. I get it, Rosidi. You're going to be a little lighter in the pocket come Saturday. All right, now we move from college to the pros, and we're going to start out, guys, with the Detroit Lions, who are on the road, taking on Baker Mayfield, his busted up shoulder, and the Browns in the dog pound. I'm going to go to Adrian Myers here first. Adrian, what's your interest level in this game? What interests you when it comes to the Lions and the Browns?
The fact that, for one, I'm rooting for the Lions to finally get their first victory of the season. 2, I absolutely despise Cleveland being a Pittsburgh fan. So anytime I can watch Cleveland fall flat on their face, it's nothing but joy for me. I actually think the Lions have a really good shot at winning this game for the fact that Baker Mayfield came out and said he's felt the most beat up he's felt in his whole entire career. He's battling a shoulder injury, a knee injury. So the Lions, they can come in there. They're playing hard, man. And I'm not sure the status of Chubb and Hunt, but I'm very interested in this game, and let's please can we take the play calling away from Dan Campbell as well? But we can get into that later. But that was just horrendous.
Pete, you're not a Lions fan, looking from afar. Besides Alex Anzalone, who favorited Rob's tweet. I don't know if you guys saw that.
I saw that.
Oh shoot, yeah, I did see that.
Yeah, very very exciting for Rob. His favorite player. That is. So you have your player go out there and the guy you're pulling for and have him like your tweet. That's nice. But
that's awesome.
Interesting. Do you have anything, Pete, for this game? That we're watching it because we're in Detroit. But
right.
What compels you with the Lions and the Browns?
I tell you, the only thing that's really compelling me right now is, as much as I want to see the Browns lose, because I do not like the Browns, the only concern I have is the Browns winning, so that my free bet of the Lions' first win will come against Atlanta. That's about it. I mean, like, the Lions it's not even interesting anymore at this point. It's like, oh, well, they finally get their first win when they go 16-1 now at this point. It's just hard to watch them play. I mean, I don't know, Adrian, were you able to sit through in all of last week's game?
I'll tell you what, by the time it got to the end of the fourth quarter, I was, I'm really passionate, so I'm standing up and yelling at the TV, man. I couldn't take it anymore. I almost had to turn the game off. I was going a little nuts watching the game. I'm like, Steelers are giving the Lions every ample opportunity to win this game, and they just could not win the game. I knew they weren't going to make that 48-yard field goal towards the end of the game. So it was kind of brutal. Deontay Johnson gave him the ball at the 50. It was just some bad, like I said, bad play calling. Third down, run it.
Yep.
Jared Goff was not healthy in that game, so I don't even know why he was out there playing. So, but it was tough. It was probably the worst game I've watched in the NFL this year by far, because it's like grinding teeth.
And yet, if Freiermuth is able to hang on to that ball there at the end, Steelers are probably going to end up winning it. Yeah, the field goal kick is one that was a real gut punch. I just want to see the Lions win a game. I don't want to see it continue on. There he is. Worst kick ever. I agree with that.
I'm really not sure what Freiermuth was trying to do there. He caught the ball, just get out of bounds. I don't know why he was trying to turn up field for an extra half yard or whatever the hell he was doing there.
That's your guy. That's your Penn State guy, man.
I know. Oh, it's brutal.
Yeah, the interest to me is to see if the Lions can get a win. It's also to see if they're just going to be a surprise somewhere, a good surprise, not a bad surprise from the Lions. I've had enough of those. I'd like to see a good surprise from somebody, undrafted free agent, backup wide receiver, whatever, and just have somebody have a game that I can enjoy. The whole Goff, Blau, Boyle thing. Everybody, I get it. These QBs, but I've seen Blau. I don't know. Like I think a banged up Goff is better than Blau. So people that are clamoring for him, it's like, I've seen it. I haven't seen Boyle. You want to put him in there? Is he a top 50 quarterback? I don't know. Is he better than Blau? He's not. So you're talking about. I think we can all agree that it doesn't look like Goff. I think this preseason rankings with some of these, whether it was Pro Football Focus, had him at 30 or 31. He is at the end here of at the starting quarterback. Blau's not in the top 32. Maybe he's in the top 50. Pete, you did the backup quarterback rankings. Where did you have the Lions? They weren't in. They weren't in the top 50, were they?
Hang on. Now
you have your information there. Now that's a very
let's see on the
that's very studious of you. You have your notes still.
I had Boyle as the 30th ranked backup.
Ooh, so not a top 60.
Yeah, that was
Yeah, no, I think that's. I think you weren't getting many arguments.
No, not to change from backup quarterbacks because that's a thrilling topic. I want to bring up Raj's comment saying Pittsburgh is the worst team in the North, which I'm not disagreeing with you. See, this is a hard thing because the AFC North is probably the most competitive division right now because all four of those teams are right there with each other, and they're all have the ability to be very good, but they've all been showing a lot of not being good. Like, you had Baltimore, who just got embarrassed by Miami. Cleveland's been the last couple of weeks. They lost to Pittsburgh and they got blown out by New England. Cincinnati got beat by the Jets and then got absolutely destroyed by Cleveland. And Pittsburgh, who just tied the Lions. I really don't know what to do with this division because, yes, they're competitive. But, yes, also every team has been showing a lot of flaws right now.
I thought it was pretty telling that when that Big Ben went on the COVID list, like the line was 7, but it only dropped like to 6.5. Like you see, like Aaron Rodgers goes out, and the Packers are 7-point favorite. Next thing you know, it's even or whatever it was, or it was even and it went to 7.5. However, it was he was worth 7 points, and Roethlisberger was worth a half a point, not a whole lot. The gamblers were like, yeah, Mason Rudolph probably just as good as an option as Big Ben. Although I think I think that the Steelers would have won if Big Ben was in there against the Lions.
Absolutely.
Hey, Pete, where did you have Mason Rudolph on your backup quarterbacks? Where did you have him at?
He was, if I remember, he was right around the middle. He was number 16.
Okay.
He was dead in the middle. Although I went on a bit of a rant on Tuesday. I despise that man.
Oh, I do too. I couldn't take it. He threw the ball 50 times and didn't produce anything. So but the problem with the AFC North is they just beat up on each other. That's the huge problem. But I think Baltimore is the best team in this division because they have the best player in the conference in the division with Lamar Jackson. So
if Rudolph was a rookie, you'd say, okay, they'll teach him to look off some receivers, but he hikes the ball, he stares down his receiver, and then it's like this slow motion throw, like. And it's so easy to detect on TV, like, exactly where this ball is going. He fires it in there, but if he could learn a little bit of those subtleties of the position, maybe he'd be a little bit better. But, he's telegraphing his throws. That's not going to work.
Yeah, he's not. Yeah, he's 26 now. I just looked it up real quick. So he's been doing this for a few years, and he had 2 years ago where he was playing almost every game. Still looks like a rookie.
The Steelers are in trouble though. Trust me, they're down 2 offensive linemen probably Sunday. Maybe no T.J. Watt, maybe no Big Ben, probably no Minka. So injuries are catching up to them. Maybe Joe Hayden's not playing. So I mean, it's looking bad right now. And they got to go play Justin Herbert. So
yeah, they're beat up bad.
All right, I think I'm going to bet the Chargers. All right, yes, show notes there. Rob's got some pro day video of the Lions ex-kicker. That sounds like some thrilling video. All right, anything in the NFL? The Cowboys Chiefs game. I'm going to watch. I like the red zone. I'll watch. The Lions and the Browns. But when it gets to that's a 4:00 game. Chiefs and Cowboys. Chiefs come out and put that look like they're back. Sunday Night Football going crazy. The Cowboys the same way. They got Dak back with a game under his belt. That could be a shootout. Could be an exciting game. I'm guessing that Jim Nantz and Tony Romo are going to be on the call there. So that's how
Romo sounds every broadcast.
I don't know, Jim. I don't know. Hey, this guy's the greatest announcer of all time. I got to admit, I like his Corona commercial. It's like, so what do you do? I sit down and open up a Corona. He's like, and that's it.
That's it.
All right. That's the beauty. That's the beauty of Romo. Really? Go ahead.
I got a game that's catching my eye this week. I mean, it's a NFC North matchup. Packers at Vikings. Vikings are coming off a huge win against the Chargers on the road. This has been an inconsistent team all year. Kirk Cousins has actually put up pretty good numbers. Had a bad loss against the Cowboys with no Dak, but I did pick the Packers to make the Super Bowl, my preseason pick. So I think Aaron Rodgers and company is going to continue to play well. That defense is coming along, and they did a hell of a job of shutting down the Seahawks. I know it's Russell Wilson's first game back, but this Packers team is looking like the real deal. So,
no, that's an interesting. Vikings keep their games close, whoever they're playing. And remember, they should have beat the Cardinals. They missed a field goal. I think that was week 2. So they're there. I don't believe in them, but they're still around there.
Let's be honest. Aaron Rodgers owns that division, and he has for pretty much his entire career. And as good as the Vikings may appear to be sometimes, it's give me the Packers all day.
It's -1 right now, so it's almost a pick 'em. So I mean, that's crazy, but I'm still wrong. I'm never
-1. You said?
Yeah, Packers -1. Yep.
Wow.
How about a pick? Last week, Adrian, remember I told you I was going for the free bet, and I didn't want to pick the Dolphins. I was like, but I ended up, almost betting $99 on the Dolphins.
Yeah.
But then I didn't have $99 in there, so 9. And next thing you know, I couldn't take the bet back. There was no opting out or anything. So then I put my free 5. I said, I'm going to keep going on the Dolphins. So next thing you know, I had $15 on the Dolphins, and I watched that game, and nobody picked the Dolphins. Everybody in the first series, the Ravens were all over the place. Just like tonight, I was watching today. It's been everybody is picking the Pats. I mean, everybody's just in love with the Pats. They're the best team. They're going to go to the Super Bowl. They're back. Mac Jones is great. All these things. I'm on the Falcons tonight. That's how I'm working it.
They're not back by any means, but they're a significantly better team than the Falcons, who didn't even get in the end zone last week.
I don't know. I'm taking the 7 points, Pete.
These Thursday night games are a little crazy for me, so betting wise, I stay away from them. So you never know what you're gonna get from Matt Ryan and company. So I stay away from them.
I normally don't like the numbers like these, but I'm gonna throw it out there anyways. It was let me see if I remember her name, Laura, who runs the NFL Live show with
Laura Rutledge.
Laura Rutledge, thank you. So she said out of the 30 primetime games on Thursday night, Sunday night, and Monday night, 21 of the 30 of the underdog has been, taking care of business there. And, that's a pretty compelling number. And we have seen a bunch of dogs just jump up where you don't think they can do it. Like, I didn't think the Dolphins had any chance last week. I thought this game's over. I've got nothing here. And then for the first 5 minutes, I'm like, I'm going to turn this off. But yeah, that's why I'm basing it. Like, I'd feel really good if Cordell Patterson was playing or better, but he's not playing. So this looks like a complete run over by the Pats. That's why I'm taking the Falcons.
Is Patterson officially out? I know he was.
I don't know about officially.
I think he's like professional.
I'm gonna say he's out. Let me double check that.
I don't know. He on my fantasy team, he was 0.1 projected all week, but now he's up to like 14.4. So.
Give me the Falcons. He's taking the points. Sideshow Raj is taking the points. Recedes saying I got lucky last week. I did. It was lucky. I'm trying to get lucky again. Hey, I gave you my reasoning. Like, at least I'm not. I didn't just flip a coin. Last week I did get lucky. I wanted to take the Ravens.
Worked out.
One of my favorite players is Lamar Jackson. I couldn't even name 5 people that were on the Dolphins. I didn't think, but I can now. I'm in on the Dolphins.
According to ESPN, they got him listed as out, so on the 18th. So it looks like he's not playing. It says ankle, so looks like he's out for this game.
So I'm on the Pats.
If you eliminate Kyle Pitts, then you're pretty much that's it for the Falcons.
I expect a lot of Kyle Pitts targets, and they're going to try. But Belichick's known for locking down your best player, so.
He is, and if you look at some of the, I don't know, they're not advanced numbers. If you just look at the team that is best against tight ends in the NFL, the Patriots are number 1 already. So, and they'll be able to take Kyle Pitts out. So, yeah. How about Russell Gage for the win, or Zacharias or whoever else they got?
No, I couldn't even tell you the rest of the receiving core after Russell Gage at this point. So.
I think we might, without Cordell Patterson, I know we've seen a little Mike Davis, but I think we're going to see some Wayne Gallman too.
Oh yeah, Wayne Gallman. The Wayne Gallman, Russell Gage is gonna take me to the promised land against Belichick. I don't know. All right. Let's turn the page. Before we do that, let's just say that we want to thank our presenting sponsor, and that is CashToBitcoin.com, who is our presenting sponsor.
Now let's talk about the NBA, fellas. Ready to talk some basketball, Dennis?
We are. We're going to see Pete in a couple minutes as he'll come back with the picks. But, yeah, I am ready to talk some basketball.
All right, I got a lot of national news I'd like to talk about too. But let's talk about our hometown Detroit Pistons. Now, since we talked last week, they played 4 games and they're 2-2 in that span. I've seen a lot better basketball play from these guys. Casey is getting his team together. And what do you know, Dennis? Cade Cunningham is coming along well. All this talk about how bad he was. The last week and a half, he had 2 clutch buckets to defeat the Toronto Raptors late in the game. He only finished with 10 points, but he had 2 great nifty plays getting to the basket and sealing that win for the Pistons. Also, they got destroyed by the Kings Tuesday night. He had 25 career high. So he's looking good right now. He's averaging 13, 5, and 4 right now as a rookie, coming along real well for this team, and he's leading them. Even I've been hard on Killian, but Killian's been playing well as of lately. He has to stay out of foul trouble, though. And for his young Pistons teams, they're going to get really tested in this next week or so. They've got home games against the Golden State Warriors, which Dennis, I will be at that game tomorrow to see Steph Curry for the first time live. And they got the Lakers on Sunday. Who knows if LeBron will be back 50-50. Then another game against the Heat, and they embark on a 5-game road trip. But so far from this team, I'm liking what I see. 4-10 right now, almost at the 15-game mark, kind of what I expected. But I just love to see the growth in the development of these young guys. And I think Casey is the perfect guy to do it for this team. So what do you think?
I watched them play against Sacramento on Friday against the Cavs, and the team just got ran off the floor in both of those games. But Cade in the first half had a sweet drive right down the middle and threw down a dunk. I like that. And the thing that you mentioned is the thing that you really want to see from Cunningham, and this is mirrors a little bit of what he did at Oklahoma State. You would watch him sometimes in the first half, and you're like, this guy's supposed to be the best player in college basketball. He's got 2 points, man. But you'd get to the second half, and he would start taking over. And, here's what he's done. He was 4 for 14 in 3 quarters last night against the Pacers. Then he shoots 50% in the final 6 minutes. In the game against the Raptors, he was 1 of 6 in the first 3 quarters. He shot 75% in the fourth quarter. They've got some stats that are out now. So I don't know if they're advanced stats, but they're called crunch time offensive rating. And they take the last 5 minutes of the game if you're within a possession or two. And last year, the Pistons ranked 20th. And this year, since Cade has joined the team October 30th, they're 3-1, and they rank 7th in crunch time offensive plays. He is a closer. He is clutch. He's money. He wants the ball. He wants to take those big shots. And so far, he's really – the thing about him when he started out is a little bit like you're like, okay, you'd like a little bit more, but he's completely got the up arrow against everything he's doing. And that's the most promising thing that really doesn't show up is that he gets to the fourth quarter in winning time. He wants the ball and he's been making plays. And I love that. That's why he was the number 1 pick. And he's showing it here. I feel great about Cade Cunningham.
Absolutely. I think the team has grown with him, and I think they trust his leadership, and he's just proven he's trying to get the ball. He would average more assists, honestly, if guys would hit shots, but I just love last night in wins against the Pacers, there was great balance. Even Frank Jackson came off the bench and had double figures. So I'm liking I like what I'm seeing from this team. So
me too.
A lot of people are expecting them to, I had a friend of mine say he thinks the Pistons are going to compete for the 8th seed, which I don't think is going to happen. They got a long way to go because the East is right now is probably the best it's been since Michael Jordan was with the Bulls, right? Like from top to bottom. But I like what I'm seeing from this team. So far, so good. Like I said, we're gonna really see tomorrow what's gonna happen. So they're gonna play the best.
Well, they got off to 2. They got behind the 8 ball with the slow start without Cunningham. What was they 1-8, 1-9? I mean, you can't come back from that. I thought that they would be playing for the play-in game. I bet the over 25.5, before the season. That's not looking really good. But you know what? If Cunningham continues to play like he is, I'm good. I'm good like that. Maybe they'll get lucky next year and get a top 5 pick.
Yeah, I could definitely see that happening. But at this point, I think they kind of the development growth. I think they need to add some type of veteran or really like an all-star guy. Kind of sort of what the Bulls did with adding DeMar DeRozan, but we're a long way from that right now. So
well, it hurt having Kelly Olynyk. Not that he was the whole team, but he fit in nice. He's a nice outside shot, can do a lot of different things coming off the bench, and he looks like he's going to be out for a long time. So that hurts. Rashid's not impressed with the Pistons. He's got the laughing emoji on it. He wants the Pistons to change their logo. He wants, he wanted the Lions to bring in Barry Sanders, the coach, the running backs. He wants Magic and Jalen Rose to come in as ambassadors / GM. So he's got a lot of opinions when it comes down to it. Before you hit some of those other things in the NBA you wanted to talk about, Beth says Cade missed the preseason and training camp. I think he's done well. They won't make the playoffs, but I think they can compete for the play-in. I'll hold off on a grade until the All-Star break. All right. She's going to hold off, but you're right. It's a good point. Not only did he miss the beginning of the season, he missed training camp and all those exhibition games. Rashidi wants Magic to be the power executive. All right.
Okay, Rashidi. I think he needs to stop typing because he's sounding like a crazy man over there.
All right, what else? So you're going. It's to see Steph live is a treat. It's too bad, it sounds like Clay is really close. I mean, he's just starting to work out and run with the team, but maybe Christmas Day, they'll break Clay out. But nonetheless, Draymond coming back. It's fun to watch the Warriors, and the Pistons usually raise up their level. They'll start shooting a lot of threes and everything. It'll be interesting to see how Cade handles all that.
Yeah, he just got cleared for 5-on-5 contact, so I believe he should be back either by Christmas Day or like the first week of January, which is going to be a boost in the arm. And they're also getting Wiseman back at some point as well too. So the Warriors are on a mission. But my question to you, Dennis, was do you think the Warriors are the best team in the NBA right now? And if not, who do you think is?
Ooh, well, you know what? I don't think it's you know what? I love Steph Curry. But I'm still looking best right now. Who has just been just ripping off? I'm just thinking off the
Phoenix.
The Suns look really good. I love Chris Paul.
Mm-hmm.
I watched the Bucks last night. That they finally got their fantastic duo back, and they look great. So I don't know. I would say the Suns out west. I don't know who's up top in the East right now. Taking a look at the standings, throwing that at me, but you could tell me. I'll still say. Trying to think even who I picked before the season.
Yeah, Washington is tied for the league lead and the number one right now in the Eastern Conference right now. They're
not Washington. What else? I'll take a look.
You probably had Brooklyn. Brooklyn's gonna be my guess of who you probably had because you expected probably Kyrie Irving to be playing right now.
Yeah, well, I didn't take the Bucks. Let me see, and let's see. Let's go back. What else you got?
I got what do you think about this Lakers team right now? I know they're the prohibited favorite right now with all the LeBron James missing. Do you think they're still a title contender with him coming back, or do you think they can still win it? What do you think of this team? I'll give you my opinions, but I want to hear what you got to say about it.
Yeah, I think LeBron's out, so I think that we knew that they were gonna manage him all the way through. This is about just getting him ready to go in May. So I still believe in the Lakers. In fact, that is who I picked before the season. I picked the Lakers, and I think I did pick the Nets. Lakers, Nets. Yeah, that's where I'm at right now. But I still like the Nets.
The Nets need better play from James Harden if they want to be able to get to the NBA Finals or even the Eastern Conference Finals to even win the East. But because I just don't think at this moment in time, we can get into that later. But Kyrie Irving, I don't think is coming back this year. So I think that spells trouble for the Nets, and the Lakers they got LeBron James, so I can't really count him out because he's just that great of a player. But they're just a really old team, and they don't play any defense. And so with some of these young teams in the West, from Phoenix to Golden State to Utah, Denver, it's a tough road. So if they fall too deep in the standings, it's going to be hard to win series on the road 2-3 times to get to the finals.
I am surprised at how well Chicago's playing and Miami. I thought it would take a little while for Miami. Both of those teams look good, but I still think New Jersey. And since I picked the Lakers, I like the Suns. They're fun to watch. And Golden State's fun to watch, but I'm surprised. I didn't realize they were 12-2.
Yeah, they've been on a tear. So I'm looking at this Eastern Conference standings right now. Man, my friend said the Pistons can make it. It's too tough. There's too many good teams right now. That's just much improved and better than the Pistons right now. We're a year away at least from even contending for a playoff spot. But it's a lot of good basketball going on. It's a lot of good young players in the league right now.
All right, I'm with you on that. You ready to make some picks?
I'm ready. Let's do it.
Rashidi was trying to school you, talking about Magic, but you can read that one. We bring in Pete Finelli. It is time for some selections. Pete, what happened last week?
Last week, it struck me at the beginning of this that I forgot to add up the totals and whatnot of everyone's record. So next week I'll have the new total from last week and this week. So that's my bad. I know for myself at least. Thank you, Michigan State, for being the one game that I got correct, because the NFL was all over the place with Miami winning and the Rams getting embarrassed and the Lions tying. That one really hurt me. But let's move on from that anyway. We got college football. let's start with the big one. I don't know why it's a noon game. I think this should be a night game. But we got Michigan State. We got Ohio State. Ohio State right now holding -19. Let's hear it from Adrian.
Michigan State, I'm gonna say they lose by 2 touchdowns and they stay in the game. They don't get blown out. Michigan Ohio State covers late in the fourth with a late touchdown to seal the game for them. But Michigan, give me Ohio State with Michigan State with the points.
Dennis?
Yeah, like 19 points seems like too many for me. So in this situation, I am going to take Michigan State in those points as well. I was hoping to have a little music here for you.
That's fine.
Get some dual music. All right.
I am also going to take Michigan State for the points. I know I got tricked last week with Purdue against Ohio State, but again, Michigan State is a much better team. And Penn State kept it close. Michigan State's a better team than Penn State is right now, so I think they'll do a good job keeping it close.
There you go.
All right. Moving on, we got the other Michigan team, Michigan at Maryland, 3:30. Right now, Michigan's got -14.5. So, Adrian, what do you have for this game?
Give me Michigan. They score early in Austin and take care of business, and this game's done by the second quarter. So, give me Michigan.
Yeah, I like Michigan 38-20. I think they'll cover the 14.5. It just sets up, Talia Tagovailoa likes to throw the ball all over the place, but how do you stop a guy like that? Get 2 great rush ends coming right at him. Penn State had to deal with that. They had a hard time. I think they'll tee off on Talia, and I think Michigan's secondary will come up with some turnovers. So I don't like the matchup there for Maryland. Plus, Michigan, I think they're going to be they'll get J.J. McCarthy into the second half, and he's not coming in just to hand off to Donovan Edwards. They want him to throw it around a little bit, and that helps when you're trying to think about covering a 14.5 spread. They're not just going to sit on the ball. I love Michigan in this game, and I'm laying the 14.5.
All right, we got another sweep because I'm taking Michigan as well. Moving on to another noon game, we have Wake Forest at Clemson. Clemson has been struggling without their long blonde-haired Jesus, no longer at quarterback for them. Although they are the favorite by -4.5. So, Dennis, let's go to you for this one to start.
I like the Demon Deacons in the money line. They're still with an outside chance to do a lot of different things. And the way they've been playing here, I think they can win this game outright. I like Wake Forest in an upset against the Tigers.
Adrian.
I've been looking at this game for the last couple of days right now. I'm going to go against the grain, and I'm going to take Clemson to win this game. Defense has been playing well all year long. The offense just has to give them something. And if you look, Wake Forest defense is god awful. When the season's over, I expect DJ Ungalele to say he had an injury or something because I just did not see this coming in for him from this season. So I'm going to take a risk, and I'm going to go with Clemson to win in the upset fashion.
All right.
Bonus points for saying the Clemson quarterback's name. Go ahead. Sorry, Pete.
I'm agreeing with you. I'm going to take Wake Forest in this one. Clemson's just not been their usual selves this year. And
Good job.
We move it on to the NFL now if we want to change the music real quick. Both of you at the same time. There we go.
I got that.
Love it. All right, starting off with the Thursday night game, of course. I know we talked about it earlier, but it's New England at Atlanta, a Super Bowl 51 rematch. Of course, we all remember that one. Right now, we got New England -6.5. Adrian, I'm going to you for this one.
I'm going to take these Thursday night games have been crazy. The underdogs have been dominating, like Pete said, Dennis said 21 out of the last 30 primetime games. Give me the Patriots. I'm sorry, but give me the Falcons to cover.
Yeah, there you go. I don't really care if the Patriots win, just as long as those dirty birds keep it within 7. I'm going with Russell Gage and Matty Ice to keep it within 7 points. Let's go.
Now, I got to oppose you guys on this one. I like New England. I know they're not back or anything, but again, they're a much better team than Atlanta. Give me the New England and give me the points for this one. Moving on, everybody's favorite Detroit Lions going to Cleveland. 1 o'clock game. Right now, the Browns -11. Adrian, what do we got?
listen, I don't like these big spreads in the NFL, especially with Baker Mayfield being hurt. This offense is looking a little inept, especially with the absence of Chubb last week. But give me the Lions to cover, but Cleveland wins in a tight one.
How many points?
11.
You know what? These two storied franchises, out there playing for the Edmund Fitzgerald Trophy. This is going to be a classic. Here I feel like taking the Lions in the 11 points. Based on they're such a bad team. They were able to keep it close with Pittsburgh, and then you get a little banged up there from Baker Mayfield. The running game looks like they're banged up as well for Cleveland, and I think Detroit, they might not get the win, but playing for keeping it close and trying to make their new offensive play caller get something going there in Dan Campbell. If Goff can throw the ball more than 20 yards, they can keep it in. I wouldn't put the house on it, but I'm going to take the Lions and the points.
Look, I wanted to take the Lions with the points. You're right, 11 is a big one. But I swear every time I take the Lions to cover, they just get blown out. I think Cleveland's going to have a bit of a bounce back week. As much as I don't want them to, I feel like the Lions will just let me down if I pick them. So
look at you picking with your head, not your heart. Impressive.
And then the last pick for the week, big game. We got Cowboys at the Chiefs. I'm really excited for this one. Kansas City is favored -2.5. They finally got back on track last week. Dallas has been hot too. So Dennis, let's hear what you got to say.
So that game's in Arrowhead?
That game is at Arrowhead, yes.
Give me the Chiefs in this one right here. Coming around, getting that offense. They're going to score a lot of points in this one, but Patrick Mahomes getting back in a little bit of a groove here. Cowboys defense isn't the greatest thing in the world. Zeke looked good last week, which is promising there for the Cowboys. But and Gallup coming back for Dallas as well. But the Chiefs got a little something to prove. Everybody going to be watching this one here, but I think give me the Chiefs if under 2 minutes to go in a tie game. I think that, they could come out on top, and they will by a field goal, something like, 38-35. Chiefs, cover.
All right, Adrian.
I'm going to agree with Dennis right here. I'm gonna take the Chiefs to cover. Pat Mahomes coming off a big game, finally snapping that slump he was in with 5 touchdowns against the Raiders. I think he'll have the similar success, maybe not 5 touchdowns, but I'd say at least 2 or 3. I don't trust Dallas. I know everybody always jumps on the Dallas Cowboys bandwagon. They win 7 games, and now suddenly they're Super Bowl contenders. But Kansas City has proven it over the last 3 years. So give me Kansas City.
All right. Once again, I am going to oppose you guys. And believe me, I am nowhere near being a Cowboys bandwagon fan. Despise them. But it's going to take Kansas City more than one win against the Raiders, who have half their team in jail, to get back on track. So give me Dallas at least to cover. Honestly, I can see them winning this outright. That'll do it for the picks this week. I went against you guys a couple times, so this last week was tough. So I kind of need this to go in my favor.
I like it.
I got a playlist for Kansas City. "Fight for Your Right to Party" is the first song on there. So there you go. That's what we'll be running with. All right, good job, Pete. Good luck. You know what? There's nothing wrong with going against the grain. That's how you take a stand.
Yes.
Come up big. All right, we lost Rob. I wanted to get his pick on the Lions. Maybe he had to get back to work or something, but
we know what
he's going. He's going big. He's going big. He's not backing down from the Lions.
No, and this just in.
Pick 6 on Mayfield.
Good job. You can get into some of those crazy lines there. Who's going to score the first touchdown? Not only a defensive one. Anzalone's probably like, plus 15,000. He's been betting that every week. And he plays in the fantasy league where you use defensive players. Anzalone was his first pick. So, we'll see how that works out for him. So, but I want to thank Rob and Pete. We'll see you next week. And Adrian, you've been doing a great job. And enjoy the weekend. And we'll be back here next week. We're back on Tuesday, and we'll see Adrian on Thursday, and we'll be ready to roll.
Sounds good, fellas. Have a good weekend, fellas.
All right, Pete, tell everybody bye.
All right, sorry, I already did.
Oh.